welcome to this edition of ET Now Hangouts with me, Ankita Saxena. Well, in my first segment, I have a very special guest who has been a part of the show when he had just started out on his journey of bringing a massive change in the society that no one ever imagined. Also ruffling many FMCG behemoths on the way, but more than 1 million followers, court notices and a massive impact on the business of packaged foods later. He is still as passionate about bringing a conscious change to improve the health literacy in India with his Label Padhega India campaign. Yes, I had the chance to be in a conversation with the food farmer Revant Himatsingka. Let's go across and take a look at this conversation. Hi Revant, welcome back to ET Now Hangouts.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again.
Right, Revant, you made your TV debut with us with ET Now Hangouts. Since then, a lot has changed for you personally. You crossed your 1 million mark and more and counting. Many television appearances later. But I do believe that your biggest achievement has been winning the credibility of the people of the country. And that has translated into a big movement now, which is Label Padhega India.
Yeah.
Tell us, what is this movement all about?
So Label Padhega India is a movement to try to get the mass, the entire India to start reading labels. And the idea is that majority of Indians start reading labels. One, they'll be more aware of what they're eating. Two, companies will be forced to reduce the amount of false marketing they do. And three, companies will be forced to improve the quality of products. Okay. So just imagine right now, for example, companies say they'll make it taller, sharper, and many other things they say. But if majority of people knew what exactly they were putting in, companies would not be able to get away with it. And they'll be forced to put better quality ingredients. So that's like the movement. So I made a song.
Yes.
And it's more than a song though. I call it a health movement. And I have very fortunate that a lot of celebrities, Olympic gold medalists, cricketers like Dinesh Karthik, Archana Puran Singh, and so many more people like health experts, Dr. Pal, Luke Coutinho, and so many more people have joined in because everyone realizes the importance of health. And every day in the last few weeks, we've been hearing of a new health controversy. Like the protein powder issue and the masala issue and this and that. So this is one easy way to tackle it. So yeah, this is it.
There are a lot of big celebrity names who have come and joined you in your Label Padhega India movement. How did you get these names to join you?
Actually, it's a very interesting question, and the one thing which people don't know, I planned Label Padhega India in May of last year. So 1 year ago, when I barely had 1.5 to 2 lakh followers. So at that time to get, and I started contacting these people then. Okay. So today, I'm lucky that, because I have a much larger following, many people reply to me instantly. But that time, it was very difficult to get these people because I would keep emailing them, DMing them, and then most of the people would ignore me. I reached out to more than 100 influencers, I reached out to many celebrities. Most people were scared to associate with me. They were like, if I associate with Revant, I will lose my brand.
Avenue,
exactly.
Yeah.
So most people were scared. But I kept emailing and I used to say Team Food Pharmer when in the email, even though it was me. I didn't have a team, but I used to say Team Food Pharmer in the email. But the first person who agreed was Archana Puran Singh. And she was a very big supporter of what I used to do, and she used to share a lot of my posts. So I knew that she should like what I do. So then I messaged her, oh ma'am, I made a video and I personally messaged her, ma'am, can you please do this? She agreed. And once she agreed, then I used her name that, okay, Archana Puran Singh has agreed, so can you even do it? And then the second person did it. And then I had, okay, these two people have agreed, then so it just became a cycle, and then more and more people agreed, and that's how it happened.
Tell me, since the time you started out to now, how has the outlook of people changed towards you? Are people more accepting of you, of course, now? And how have you seen the changes happening around you with the way people are reacting to it and the awareness?
So there are two aspects. One is the personal side and one is the more health movement side. So in the personal side as well, things have changed a lot. Earlier, if I would go for a podcast, I would be waiting for half an hour for the host. Now they will be there promptly. People treat you differently. So that is on the personal side. On the more health movement side, yes, it's massively changed. Like earlier, when I was saying things, they were like, oh, what is the importance of reading labels? Kya hi ho jayega if we start reading labels? Now it's become the default. And because they've seen that 3-4 different companies have changed their products based on the videos we've made. Like two companies reduce the sugar, one company is thinking of reducing their palm oil. So all of these things have made people understand that this is not just, something which is happening on social media. This is a real life companies are reacting to it, companies are making positive change. So that's the...
Right. In fact, I'll come to that. Since the time you made that famous viral video on Bonvita, it was supposed to reduce the sugar content in it. There's some sort of a domino effect that happened with Nestle coming into the scanner, with, of course, them using using sugar in baby products. And of course, now we are hearing that even PepsiCo is doing their R&D on using a different oil than palm oil for Lay's. This is a big win for you and the consumers as well.
Yeah, it's a massive win, because again, these products are very mass market products. Out of the 140 crore Indians, I'm assuming maybe more than 80, 90, 100 crore people are having it. So even if a product is improved by 5-10%, it's affecting the health of 100 crore people. So my point is, it's a very major win. And also, again, as you said, there are 3-4 products that you just mentioned: Bonvita, Lay's, and even Maggi ketchup reduces sugar by 22%. So these companies have reduced some of their current products. Also, many products have changed their marketing, which has not been so obvious. But I read labels essentially for a living at this point. Like some companies used to say rich in vitamin C. Now they are saying source of vitamin C. So they're one level reducing the claims they've made. And I'll tell you one more thing, Ankita. It's relatively difficult to get a company to change its existing product.
Yeah.
But I can say with confidence that if a company is launching a new product, now they'll think 100 times that, okay, in the new product we'll launch, we'll make sure everything is not that it's clean. Right. And also the startups that are coming in. The startups will also make sure that we'll not now cheat the customer, we'll make sure it's clean, because the customers have woken up.
Right. But Revant, I want to ask you, what in your opinion is the reason behind it? Why are these big FMCG behemoths selling cheaper, low-grade ingredients to Indian market and not the foreign markets? Because what we've been reading about is that, Nestle has been using sugar in baby cereals in India, but not in Europe and UK. Also, PepsiCo has been using palm oil in India, in Lay's, but not in the foreign markets.
Yeah.
Why is that so?
So there are 3 main reasons behind this. One, to be very honest, the price point in India is very low.
Right.
And if hypothetically, if they were using very premium quality ingredients, then the consumers may not even be able to afford it. Again, these companies are very mass market. They're trying to even go to after the villages and tier 4, tier 5. So the price is one reason. Okay. Second is the regulatory bodies are not as stringent. Like if you go to the EU, they have very strong laws. Out here, it's slightly more lax. So that is one very important thing, the regulatory bodies. And the third thing is the consumers in India so far have not been as well aware, which is what I am trying to help with. So if you go to Europe, people know what is in their food. So people are reading labels, they are researching about their food. Out here, people are not doing that. So which is why now that millions of people in the last 6-7 months have started paying more attention, companies are even paying more attention because they realize we can no longer get away with it.
So where does the onus fall? Does it fall on the regulatory body now, the FMCG behemoths, and of course, consumers also are responsible for their own health?
So I feel like I would be wrong to put it on any one person, because there's no one person who can take full ownership. For example, the customer, like me, I can read a label and find out what the ingredients are.
Correct.
But the ingredients don't tell me what the pesticides are. That is not mandated to be listed, right? So that falls on the regulatory bodies.
Okay.
For example, recently there was a lot of controversy with the masalas having ethylene oxide, which is cancerous. So that even if you read the label, you will not be able to figure out. So that onus obviously falls with the regulatory body, that if they give a certification, it has to be strong enough that the customers can trust it. So there is a responsibility on every front. The companies also have to be responsible that they are essentially feeding 100 crore plus people. So if you are doing it for so many people, you need to give something of quality which can be standardized across different countries. So the responsibility does not fall on any one person. It's the entire ecosystem.
Right. So speaking of the ecosystem, Revant, consumers, of course, you're doing your part in making the consumers aware with Label Padhega India also. And companies, of course, have suddenly woken up. And as far as the regulatory body is concerned, now coming to them, if there had to be a checklist, if you have a checklist in your mind which should be followed by every brand and that should be made mandatory by the regulatory body, what should that checklist look like?
So the most important thing is, it's not that we are saying ban junk food. My only problem is junk food cannot be marketed as healthy. Right. So in that checklist, you have to make sure that one is the marketing accurate based on the product, the ingredients. So one would be, of course, looking through the company's front packaging and trying to correlate it with the back and trying to see, is this claim, does it make sense or not? Like if a company is saying that it makes you taller, when was the report done? Is there any proper study in relation to it or not? Like has a study, because I have noticed some companies which claim that it's from 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And maybe the trial was only for 15 people. So once again, you have to make sure the front and back match each other. And you also have to make sure that you test, the lab report has to be there for every single product, and you test for even banned pesticides. I have heard that not every pesticide is tested for in India. And in EU, if you test the same product, some of the banned pesticides will come out. But in India, you test the same product, it will not come out. So you have to do a wider variety of testing for pesticides. You have to double check the marketing. You have to make sure, you have to try to make the laws a bit stricter, that the marketing, people cannot find loopholes in your marketing. And most importantly, it should be simple enough such that the final end consumer is able to figure out. Like, like for example, currently it's all in English. So can we make a QR code sort of a thing where if you scan it, it translate the nutrition label in other languages, because only 10-15% of the country understands English. So I would rather have some way to get to the Hindi speaking, Marathi speaking, Tamil speaking, other people also to understand what is there in it.
In fact, that's a great checklist, Revant. I hope the food regulatory body listens to this and gets to work. But the last time you were here, I asked you, how scared are you of these brands suing you? And now I want to ask you, how scared are these brands of you?
Honestly, I think they are pretty scared, and I'm not saying this just like that, because when I meet people as well, like in the airports and here and there, I keep hearing that I'm being discussed a lot in their boardrooms.
Okay,
and
I'm sure.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, what should we do? And things like that. And I'll tell you one thing, I had made a video on peanut butter a few months ago. And I did not even say peanut butter is bad, but I just said like, these are the advantages, these are the disadvantages. And first day there were normal comments. After 3-4 days, there were 200-300 comments very similar to each other. It was very clear that it's the same company which has done it. And they all got together and posted 400-500, 300-400 comments on my video. So my point is, they're trying to defame me. And I am sure right now things, touch wood, have been going well for me. But in the 6 months to 1 year, there'll be some sort of they'll be trying to, go after my reputation.
Yeah.
Because their sales are being affected.
Of course.
And they see my numbers are continuously growing, and they see how it's become a health movement. So yeah, they are definitely scared of me, and so far they've not had a very strong way to retaliate, but I'm sure they're going to go after my reputation.
Yeah, but Revant, that also puts you in the spot where whatever you put out, whatever content you put out, because you have won so much of credibility now, that even the responsibility also falls on you, that you can't give out any wrong information, like slight blip, and people will go after you. Isn't that a scary spot to be in?
No, 100% is scary. Like I try to do a lot of research before I put something. So if I have put, in every video you claim so many different things, so I have to make sure I'm accurate. And the only reason why I have so much credibility is because I have been right 99% of the times. In the past, like 6 to 8 months ago, I had made one video in which I made one error, but and sometimes the problem is now that once you gain popularity, some people even distort your videos. So they'll intentionally make my videos seem that I said something when I did not say it. Again, they're trying to go after your reputation.
Yeah.
Because they know that's the easiest thing to go after. So these are some worries if I have. Of course, I do a lot of research before I put up something. Some mistakes are bound to happen, but so far, touch wood, I've been right 99% of the times.
Revant, but cornering is one thing and sending legal notices is another thing. Slightest mistake and you could have a legal notice slapped right across your doorstep. Aren't you scared of the court cases?
So yeah, I mean, I've realized that it is a part of the movement. I have a line also, you don't create a health revolution without making a few enemies. Yeah. So you have to face the legal battles. Earlier, I was scared of it. Now I've realized that's a part of the process. You cannot run away from it. Yeah. Companies will try to bully you, but you have to fight back. Yeah. So yes, I do sometimes get legal notices, even though they technically have no grounds. Okay. If a movie reviewer can review a movie, then why can I not review a food product? In fact, on Amazon, for the same company, they have hundreds of products, reviews. But just because I'm reviewing them negatively and I have a larger audience, they get pissed off. Right. So yes, there are sometimes issues. For example, just recently I got a court case and they always put in a different city, so I'll have to fly and it's a hassle for me as well. So it is pretty annoying, and sometimes they put a monetary amount. One company even says 6-month jail.
Oh my God.
So they always try to scare you, and honestly, for a few days it does scare you. And like my parents, like, I was not there, but my parents got that thing in Calcutta. So they got very, very scared and they were like, stop doing all this. And like, so it does affect you, but they don't have any grounds. And if I make it public, I can cost them way more. They should be aware that, it can cost them, their PR can go very negatively. So I have one more line for these companies, is that if you send me a legal notice, I will get you publicly noticed. So if I want, I can publicly defame these brands. Not defame is a wrong word. I can publicly showcase that they're trying to bully me. But they sometimes still do it, and that's the sad part.
Why are you doing this? Like, where is this inspiration coming from? You're not monetizing it. You still not have monetized it. There is no ulterior motive there. You're ready to face a legal battle by these big FMCG behemoths. And when you started out, you were practically like a one-man army. There was nobody standing behind you. Like now you have a huge fan following, fan base, and a lot of credibility to your credit. But earlier on, you had nothing. What was inspiring you to do this?
So the real answer, which is a bit altruistic, which sounds a bit preachy and a bit boring, so I'm not sure if people will like it. My genuine goal in life is to try to do the most good I can do. And there are many, if I want to do the most good I can do, I have to fight against a big problem. And there are 3-4 problems which I think are the biggest. One is poverty. I don't know how to solve poverty. Second is climate change. I don't know how to solve climate change. Third is animal abuse. I don't know how to solve. Health is also one of the topmost issues in the world. And luckily, I do know how to solve it to some extent. Obviously, I cannot solve health, but like, I can make people healthier. So I do genuinely want to do good. And I feel like I have found like a avenue where I'm good at something. And also, I have studied nutrition. So it all falls together very beautifully. And I have noticed that even if you go to an IIT or an IIM or a top college in India, Indians are educated, but we are not health literate. And that's what I want to change. I want to make India health literate. And in the next 5 years, my goal is to make India health literate. So it's just that passion to try to get Indians to become health literate is what is driving me and fueling me.
All right. It's a huge thing to do, Revant. I mean, if it's just altruistic, then I mean, you're on a different path altogether, and more power to you for that. But Revant, finally, after all, you're an influencer, right? That's your bread and butter. In fact, you've been very transparent about not monetizing as an influencer, but you're doing this full time now, and you're an influencer, and I'm sure there have been a lot of opportunities, a lot of brands that would have approached you to probably start your own food brand, your own food company, or to endorse brands. What next? How are you planning to monetize this? Because after all, you have to make money, right, for a living?
Yeah, so that has been, to be very honest, a challenge for me. I am being viewed by literally crores of people, like, if you look at my reach, but like I am not really making money. So that has been the challenge for me. Thankfully, I have had savings from my earlier job, which was pretty good. But in terms of my future plans, I'm taking it a day at a time. The bigger I grow in terms of followers, the more opportunities I get every day. So one of my potential ideas is to start a health school. For example, currently we are taught history in school, we are taught geography, we are taught mathematics, we are taught English, but we're not taught about food. So can I start a food school where I myself also teach people, and I also get like the experts from different departments to teach about proteins, carbohydrates, and things like that. So that's one potentially monetary opportunity as well. A lot of people are also tasking me to start a Food Pharmer certification, where companies can put a photo or a logo of Food Pharmer certified if I've approved all these products.
But then that means that you have had that kind of credibility where they're actually putting you over a food regulatory body.
Exactly. So, and that has only happened because I have genuinely worked hard for the betterment of everything. So that is another possible route for monetization, but I have not properly figured out the right path. There are, again, every day there's a new business opportunity and someone new coming in. Oh, you start your food company, you start this, you start that. It's like very overwhelming, and like very big shot people, like, very influential people reach out. So I'm taking it a day at a time, to be very honest, figuring it out.
All right, Revant, it was a pleasure to have you on this show. In fact, more power to you, and I really hope this label Padhega India is a massive success like all your campaigns have been.
Thank you so much. Means a lot.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.